All righty. All right. So I hope everybody's had a chance to introduce themselves in the chat. I guess I should introduce myself. I'm Melinda, and I'm an instructional support specialist here at CommonLit, and I'm excited to walk you through our brand new target lessons. I joined CommonLit last summer after teaching high school English for 10 years here in North Carolina, and I'm excited to be here with you today, and I'm excited that you're here with me today. So I want to thank you for your time and for your support. As far as what we're going to cover today, this webinar is actually usually 20 to 25 minutes max. I'm going to show you how to locate our target lessons. We'll go over the purpose for our target lessons and how they're structured. Also, I'm going to show you a sample target lesson. And as I walk through each part of that lesson, I'm going to go over some best practices and strategies for facilitating those sections. And then we'll close out with some helpful resources. If you have to hop off for any reason, don't feel guilty. We're going to follow up within 48 hours with your certificate for attendance, a link for today or of today's webinar. And we're also going to link the survey for today. And when we end the webinar, if you can stay on for the survey, please do. The survey won't take any longer than 5 minutes. A few logistical items. We're not going to use the chat and raise your hand features. However, if you go to that Q&A icon, my colleague Brittany will answer your questions to the best of her abilities. And I will also stay on at the end of today's webinar, and I'll go to that Q&A icon and answer questions as well to the best of my abilities. So I think it's important to note that CommonLit was founded by a former teacher. Many of us here were former teachers, Brittany and myself included. We provide here at CommonLit high quality literacy resources. Those resources are totally free. If you ever hear rumors that we're charging people, that's a lie. We have over 2,000 texts in our digital library. We have over 600 Spanish lessons. We have book pairings. We have our 360 curriculum. And now we have our brand new target lessons. And our target lessons are short, they're easy to use, and they're highly engaging. These lessons support reading, writing, and classroom discussions, and each lesson focuses on a key skill. And we've included pre-reading, during reading, and post-reading activities for every target lesson. Now, as I demo everything today, I am going to turn my camera off, but I will turn my camera back on before we close out. So let's go ahead to the platform so I can show you where to locate our target lessons. The first thing you'll want to do is log into your account. If you do not have an account, you can click this like the icon that looks like a person here, and it will walk you through step by step how to create an account, and we will verify your account to make sure that you're not a student trying to get the answer keys. So then we'll go to browse the library, and then we're going to click target lessons here on our left side panel. So from here, you'll be brought to the main library page where you can click on the target lessons. And our target lessons are really built around snappy texts that focus on kid-friendly topics. We cover topics such as protecting animals. We love to provide stories of other inspirational teenagers and children that made a difference. We have texts about courageous women and other trailblazers. We also have texts related to Black history and human psychology. Now, you will notice that the target lessons cover a variety of skills. Currently, we offer nonfiction lessons focusing on identifying main idea, identifying the author's point of view, analyzing cause and effect, along with target lessons related to connecting ideas, in which students analyze how one person, event, or idea influences or impacts another. Now, I'm going to use a sample lesson to walk you through how the target lessons are structured. Then we're going to use the lesson on the sit-in movement. And this is an 8th grade lesson focusing on connecting ideas in terms of or related to the sit-in movement. So we're currently on the lesson overview page, which states the focus skill and provides an agenda. Every target lesson starts with the lesson overview, which gives students a roadmap for how the class will go. Target lessons follow a familiar pattern that is aligned to best practices. Lessons start with a pre-reading activity that builds background knowledge and engagement. Then students read the text and answer during reading questions which will build student skills. These during reading questions give students writing practice, and they're a great way to build classroom discussions. And finally, every lesson concludes with a short assessment to measure what students learned. Before assigning this lesson, I want to bring your attention back to the top here of our student preview page. Now, we can facilitate this lesson digitally, but if you would like to facilitate it on paper, you'll go to download materials and you can download the student copy here. You can also download the teacher copy. As you teach the lesson, we recommend having the teacher copy on hand. The teacher copy provides answers to the during reading questions, and it can only be accessed from your page. We also have the answer key here, and that will provide the answers to the assessment questions. And then we have a customizable slide deck to introduce this target lesson. Feel free to modify that based on your class. Now that we've reviewed the lesson overview page and some helpful facilitation resources, let's look at part 1. After the lesson overview, we have the hook. Each target lesson includes at least one hook. They're designed to be completed in 1 to 5 minutes, and it's suggested that the teacher leads this part, or you can use this as like whole group share out to build engagement. And we have 4 types of hooks. We have our writing warm-up questions, we have picture studies, we have scenario reflections, along with background building videos. For this particular lesson, we offered a writing warm-up question that's followed by a video. Both of these parts get students thinking about the topic of the article. The video also introduces the skill of the lesson. In this lesson, students will practice connecting ideas, specifically analyzing the impact of the sit-in movement. After the hook, students will move to part 3. Part 3, students review the target skill. This provides a clear focus and purpose for the lesson. When students know what they'll be doing and why, they're more likely to give their best effort. Additionally, this part of the lesson always provides a visual that connects to the content. It connects the content to the skill. And so this helps learners understand the skill better. By practicing the skill, students will be able to explain how these types of protests impacted America. And this part of the lesson is designed to be completed quickly. Next, we'll engage the text, which allows the students to apply and practice the skill so that they internalize that skill as they answer the during reading questions. The texts at the heart of any target lesson were selected because of their grade level, rigor, brevity, and interest to students. The text for this lesson was written by ushistory.org. As you can see, it's a short text, and it's our hope that these qualities will allow you to complete the target lesson or complete any target lesson within 1 class period. As students move through the lesson, you'll notice a gradual release, which we'll experience as students answer the during reading questions. If you zoom in on this first question, it's a multiple choice question that gets students thinking about the purpose of the sit-ins. This is followed by an open-ended question. And this open-ended question will get students thinking about what a sit-in was and its goals related to the civil rights movement. And these questions are aligned to the target focus. This provides students the opportunity to practice reinforcing the same skill. We'll then move to part 5, the assessment questions. So the during reading questions in part 4 act as scaffolds to help students answer the assessment questions more successfully. The assessment questions that conclude each target lesson provides students with 2 opportunities to show how well they understood the focus skill, with 1 multiple choice question and 1 written response. We're showing that writing is just as important as multiple choice questions. To that end, reserving 10 to 15 minutes for the assessment questions is important for student success. Before submitting the assignment, students are able to provide feedback on whether they believe the lesson helped them improve in terms of that target skill, and if they found the lesson interesting. All of this data will be available on your teacher data dashboard so that teachers can use it to inform future instruction. And this data also helps us improve our lessons. Now, speaking of data, let's exit out of this lesson and let's go to my classes and let me show you what the grading page looks like for this assignment. Okay. So let's go to our first block class and let's go to this target lesson. Okay. And so we'll click on the lesson. You can release the scores here, but I want to go ahead and show you what the data looks like. So we're going to click on this chart icon. So from here, you can see overall class data. We can see the class average, the average score for the multiple choice and short answer assessment questions. We can see a breakdown of scores, and we can see what students scored the highest and what students scored the lowest. We can also see the overall scores chart here. And when you click view responses, it will send you straight to that part for the lesson. However, I'm gonna scroll down and we're gonna click show more so that we can see the data for each part. Okay, so starting with part 1, here you can review the responses to the 3-minute JOT warm-up question. These responses are not graded, but you can still use them to note trends and to make connections to students' responses and to see what students' prior knowledge, or to make connections to students' prior knowledge. Part 2 and part 3, we had a video and a visual. So those will be blank, which leads us to part 4, which reveals the answers to the in-text questions and shows how many attempts it took a student to get the correct answer. Remember, these answers do not count against students, but you can use them for data purposes to see where comprehension might have broken down. By clicking next question, we can review the written responses for this section. And this is just a great way to gain insight from students' responses. From here, we move on to part 5, the assessment questions. You can see how students did on the multiple choice answer or on the multiple choice question. And you can click on the question to see what the question was and what the answer was. When you click on the scores, you can see the written response. But what you'll notice is this is already graded. So I'm going to click on this grade or on this score so that I can show you what the grading page looks like. So this is the grading page. And from here, you can assign a score from 0 to 4. And you can also provide feedback. And then when you click Save Next, it will send you to the next question that needs to be graded. And once again, you'll need to release the scores so that students can see your feedback. Right. Afterwards, we'll go back to our assignment page. And the last part is the feedback. And so from here, you can see the feedback that students provided. And really, all of this data is going to help teachers in terms of what they decide when it comes to future instruction. So teachers might decide to provide different target lessons to different students to differentiate, or maybe they want to re-loop the same skill with their whole entire class. They have that flexibility to do that, right? So now we're going to begin closing out for today, but I want to make sure you know where to go in case you have any questions after today's webinar. Always feel free to go to our help widget. When you click on the help widget, you can type in a keyword or an entire question, and the bot will populate questions and answers for you to refer to. But if you're saying to yourself, I need a human, you can click Get in Touch, and our team is online from 9 to 5 Eastern Standard Time. Now I'm going to go back to our slide deck, I'm gonna turn my camera back on so we can close out for today. And this is just a great time to remind you that if you have any questions, please click on that Q&A icon. We will answer your questions before we close out today. All right. So we currently have over 50 target lessons, and right now our team is like fast and the furious when it comes to producing these target lessons. So that we are going to continue rolling them out. We're going to be rolling out grades 3 through 12. So you're going to see more lessons for 9th, 10th, and 11th and 12th grade. We're also going to be adding new skills. So you'll see more target lessons for finding evidence and for analyzing an author's argument. So please keep looking out for our new target lessons, and we look forward to you using these target lessons in your class. Right. And last is our survey for today. This survey will not take you any longer than 5 minutes, and I cannot stress how important your feedback is to us. The reason we created target lessons is based on the feedback we received from teachers. And on the survey, we'll ask you, what are some skills that you would like to see? All right. Well, that's all I have for us today. If you have any summer left, please enjoy what summer you have left. And for those that have started school, and just for everybody here, I wish you the best this school year. Be safe and take care.